It is the phrase that asks the opposite. It is the phrase that authorizes the absolutely contrary. Every time someone lovingly hugged you and said you don't cry, it was precisely for you to cry, to unlock what was hurting you, doing you bad, and that if you had kept, it would have harmed your character. Because character, it can only shine in us as we purge everything that gets sick emotionally. Ethically, many will not understand your battles, but you just need to understand so you don't give up on them. When others do not understand our battles, we only give up if we have not understood either. When we understand, we do not depend on the other's understanding. Keep it to you. When you understand your battles, you will not matter if others will not understand. You will not give up. Because you understand, and you know what you should look for. And do you know what you should look for? The brave woman God has done, the brave man God has done, and that sometimes life does not encourage. We are not always encouraged to reach the best of us. Sometimes we are encouraged to reach a little and we stay with that, and we adapt to that little. If you knew how many greatness God left you stored inside you, if you knew how many gifts they are asleep just because you haven't woken up yet, that you haven't awakened to life in the Spirit, which is a daily manifestation of gifts. Live in the Holy Spirit, and no one but you will be able to fool you because your intuition will be here, and you will know exactly who is good, who is not being, which is worth, which is not worth, and you will stay. You will stop this need to ask others to advise others. It cannot. I know that sometimes we are educated to be dependent on others. I know many people look for me because they think I have a magical answer to the lives of others. I don't even have to mine. The only thing I do daily is to exercise myself to pay attention to myself. So to be the best man I can be every day. It usually works. Is there someone you love there? Is there anyone who is on the other side of the phone? Yes. Send her a month. Send now. I love you, Mom. Father, I love you, Grandma. God-manifest love does not expect to finish the story to know the value it has is the most beautiful expression we can have in life. All this shapes our character. All this one day is missing in our life. So while you have value, and when you have yours, teach from the first moment of life that if we do not educate ourselves, we are individual in our lives, unable to distribute to others, to donate. We get a well of selfishness. Confidence in God, it goes through the opportunities we have to perceive our fragility, our indigence, our incompleteness. And at the same time, realizing all this, we throw our eyes to the sky. That's a metaphor, isn't it? Licking your eyes to the sky is a metaphor of throwing your eyes inside. God dwells us. Remembering that this hand of God in our lives, it is always manifested through very concrete situations. Of course, we believe in God's supernatural action. He is acting supernaturally in us all the time. I always understand this act of God in us as if he fears behind the scenes that we do not know. It is as if the delicacy of your love built a floor to us where we put our feet without knowing that we are putting. God's action encompasses everything we are. There is nothing that can be out of your love, your mercy. Where can we find the Lord? In the deepest of our heart. So every time we come back to the pursuit of this God, when we scream for him, it is here that he responds to us. Yes, it is in our humanity. It is in the dimension of our conscience. Of what we have the most intimate, that God is telling us. Revealing us, and puts us in this confidence. The experience of trust is putting us like this. I wake up in the morning, I put my life in the hands of God, and I will pay attention where he will tell me yes, and where he will tell me no. And always realizing that no, that he puts me when a situation does not work. It is a way he has to protect me. Because the father who loves his son says not with the sole purpose of protecting his son. It's not all the father tells us yes. It's not all the mother will say yes. And of course, when we hear no, a contradiction is established within us. I always like to say that sometimes we are very unfair to us when we put goals very difficult to achieve. So I will only be happy the day I am full. Forget then, but we can try it. A little of what would be full. And confidence in someone is like this. When you discover someone who takes care of you, your things, with a zeal that may not even do. It's that old story, you can give your credit card with the password, knowing that the other won't hurt you. Or you open your life, open your heart, tell what weighs on you, knowing that the other will not use what you count against you later. Confidence, my people, it establishes within us a rare spiritual harmony. Too beautiful. Now, when there is confidence, my people, we will listen to not differently. I have asked God for this grace. Of course, I work for things to happen, but when they don't work, when they don't happen, I have to live there motivated by the confidence that God is protecting me at that moment. And this mysterious supernatural action belongs to the dimension of faith. I believe in this miraculous action of God, so much so that I do not ask Him to do miracles in my life. I do not have a habit of asking Him miracles, because I am aware that living well my life is somehow correspond to this miracle that never ends in my story. It's a beautiful project for life, isn't it, guys? I will ask less. I will trust more. I will ask less because I know God probed my heart and know what I really need. He knows all the dimensions of my life, knows my feelings, has access to what I cannot access myself. We mature too much when we start walking in a faith that asks less and offers more, in a faith that asks for less and trusts more. Ah, priest. But I need to ask because in prayer we ask. God gave us the right to ask, of course. I am not saying that it is for you to stop asking. I am saying that as you advance your faith, you will have less need to ask because you will trust more and more. Then what will happen? You will leave the scope of this exchange that often faith it seems to be. I ask God, He gives me, and I return to Him love, faithfulness. No. Well, trust does not include this exchange, this commodity we often make with God, this mercantilist relationship. No. Of course, from time to time we have urgent situations where we run. Oh my God, have mercy on this. Have mercy on that. Have mercy on me. So many situations we ask. You ask. Your faith allows you to ask. Why do you ask God? Why do you tell Him? Prayer is something else, but you tell God in secret or in particular. I like to say that to pray is that we are received at a private hearing by Him. Every time I put myself in prayer, I'm being received at a private audience. It is the opportunity I have to say goodbye to my secrets, my fears, my desires. What I may not have the courage to tell the other, I tell Him. And it's so beautiful when we find people who can already live faith without requests, you know? That faith that trusts, instead of filling God with requests every day. I know we are eager to ask God for many things, but if we have a faith based on trust, we don't even have to formulate our requests. Because we know that God probes our needs. Even if we are honest, much of the things we ask God, we don't need them. Of her. We ask for many things that are directly linked to our wills, our desires. It would be much more interesting if our prayer was of trust, giving God the right to do in us what He knows we need. That's why I always say that we have to sensitize our soul, you know? As if you have a needle to be able to feel the pain, you sensitize your soul so that you have more and more. You encourage reading a song. Today, coming here, I came listening to the same song from here. It looks a little neurosis, doesn't it? But God told me so much. That song told me so much through that song. I did not think I was alone. I did not think twice. I will listen. And that song entering my heart, I sensitized my soul there, Tomei. So the time I take from Tabate so far, an hour of travel, is an opportunity I have to pray. to establish with him a communion and feel that his hand sustains me, that his hand protects me, that the hand your hand guides me. Have the courage to silence your questions. Experience this comforting presence of God that is established in us from a definitive bond of love, fraternity, faithfulness. Trust the one you love you. It is so humanly. Humanly, we have confidence in those who love us. So it is so important to discover God's love. Because when we feel for him beloved, we will naturally want this confidence. Let's seek this confidence. Sometimes, my people, we do not mature because we are insisting to ask God what we want. But what matures us is when God offers us what we really need. Between what we want and what we need, it is very different. But only confidence. It's just like that old story. What do you want me to do for you? The other asks us. And then we return to him. What do you think I need? Because sometimes I will ask the other to do for me what I am wanting at that moment. But because he already knows me a little more, because he is already realizing the ambience of my life a little more deeply, he is able to offer what I really need. Then he goes until he contradicts me a little. It's okay. I won't do what I know you want, but I'll do what I know you need. Let me ask a little question. What do you do when life gets very difficult on your side? Pray. But there's another verb that helps us every time life gets difficult. Living. Is there another way? Does life ask to stop? Do you have to stop life? Just give a little time that now I will suffer a little? No. Who strengthens us? Who makes us bigger is life when we live and live, essentially. If it's to cry, I live crying and alive. If it is to rejoice, if it is to fight, I fight living. Be very attentive to the present moment, which is the only thing you have. And every time life makes you a challenge, respond to her. Living. Then I ask you, how are you going to face your problems from today? Living. How will you support the abandonment of the other? How will you heal the pain of losing someone you love? How will you become the Christian you want to be? This is the verb, my people. That's what God is asking you before your Red Sea. And no matter how deep this sea is, you believe that when you put your feet in the waters, it will open for you to pass. Because God does not abandon what fights. Never God leaves what fights. God will never leave. And do you live alone? No. You need these people who support you, because at many times the verb to live is only bearable because we are accompanied. It is someone who holds our hand and who represents true human love gods. I wish you in your crossings that you live intensely, always accompanied by good friends. It's so good when you end one day and you lie down on the pillow and, oh, how good this is, my people. Today I was not rude to anyone. Today I didn't make gossip. The day ended and I didn't say badly about anyone. Look how wonderful. This is your best version. Because this gossip version is not God who created it. It is the devil he did. And sometimes we lend our body for the devil to live. You need to make an exorcism. Send this devil that sometimes lives in us. Through negative thoughts, through gossip, injustice, arrogance. When we feel better than others, it is the devil who is living in us. It is not God. God is there, poor, tight to make room for the devil. Because God doesn't come out. See? The devil leaves. God does not. You can do an exercise and expel the devil, which the devil comes out. Nothing will expel from the God who is in you. Ugh. What a beautiful thing that. Isn't it wonderful? There is no ritual to put God inside you. There is no. It has ritual to arouse the strength of Christ who is already in you by vocation, by image and likeness. When we baptize their children is not to stick God inside them. No. It is to awaken the God who is already there. It is to say publicly that from today we want our son to be the same as Jesus. We will educate him for him to be a little guy in his childhood. Teenage Jesus. A young Jesus. And It has ritual to expel the devil, but there is no ritual to put God within us, because God is the owner of everything. Is the owner of everything. You are a sacred, consecrated being. Don't forget that. So, when you're discouraged with that temptation, I'm not tired, I can do everything in the one who makes me. Because when you are sure of victory, suffering is just a detail. It's not that we Christians are masochists. No, I don't run after any suffering. But when he arrives, I put the table. I get good, because I know that who brought me here, my people, were not my joys. The authority of my priestly ministry who gave me was my struggles. They bring me here, without complaining, without victimism. No, it is with great joy that I confess. The smile I have today who drew was my tears. How many times have you heard this? Son, don't cry just so you have the right to cry, because nothing arouses our cry more than when someone lovingly speaks. Oh, does not cry, and hugs you